There won't be a revolution or any actual freedom because, for one thing, most people don't even know that they are slaves. Most of the so-called truthers also don't get it. They still call themselves a person, even though that's just another word for a slave. Everything that the people in power want to achieve is going to happen. There will be a meat reduction, and it is going to be a lot more expensive. Of course, this is done to ruin our health. A lot of people are going to get chipped, and they will slowly eliminate cash. The humans will be moved from the villages to the cities so that they can also become persons. Nobody is going to do anything to stop this. In 2014, there were heavy protests in Kiev, Ukraine, but after a few months, the military came and shot them dead. This was, of course, not widely reported in the news. 2 years ago, there were also heavy protests in Hong Kong, but then the Chinese military came and stopped them. Protests are not going to help us, no matter how we organize ourselves. The only thing that we could do at this point would be mass non-compliance, but there are very few of us that are not going to comply. This is, of course, also not going to work. The government owns you since birth and rented you out to your parents, who are now taking care of the government's property. It's all about making you into a good slave, which your parents are going to do because that's all that they know. They were also born into slavery. They made you believe that you are working and earning money for yourself, even though that's not at all what you want as a human. All of your aspirations were created by the government. This is why you always felt like your life has no meaning.
The real free people, they not crave for safety and they do not crave for security. Those who crave for safety and security are slaves, unfortunately. Because the real free people, they do not care about this life. They care only about the honor, about the dignity, and they are always ready to die. You know, even you insult them, you slap them in the face, they will, if they are equal with you, they will challenge you to fight to death. They will just get their sword and they will force you to get your sword and they will just kill you, or you will kill them, and they don't care. Because that's the difference between the human and the slave. The slave craves for his safety and security, but not a human. The free man craves for his dignity and for his honor. You use the word protection. The difference between a free man and the slave is that the free man doesn't need any protection. Because as long as someone goes under protection of another person, he is no longer a sovereign. At the very best case, he is a vassal, but in the worst case, he is a slave.
The main purpose of the libertarian seems to be preservation of wealth and like body and health and life, you know.
Yes, so you see that the so-called libertarians, they are not looking actually for freedom. What they are looking for is the personal safety, more income, less taxes, less obligations, protection. Yeah, but why you call it freedom? It's not a freedom. It's just they are just want to be a more wealthy,
free from tax.
Free from tax, but it's not a freedom.
Yeah. Free, and also like
because they remain slaves.
The protests that we see nowadays are not slaves fighting for freedom. It is them fighting for slightly better slavery conditions. They may believe that they are fighting for freedom, but that's because they have never experienced it. How could they know what it is, how it feels like? A typical human is born into a so-called golden cage. It may look pretty on the outside, but it is still an open-air prison. Humans can adapt to a lot of environments and make the best out of it, but unfortunately we have adapted to a man-made environment, and that's why we are in this mess.
The biggest problem is this, that you cannot change someone who was born a slave, and you cannot make him a human. It's impossible, absolutely impossible, especially when it comes not by his own desire. If some slave was born as a slave, and he doesn't want to be slave, and that is his own decision, yes, it is possible. But that comes from inside of him. And he might...
he cannot be inspired by others.
He cannot. The maximum what can be done, he can be inspired and used as a useful tool and then just thrown away, and his children and probably grandchildren can be educated to be humans. That is possible, but not himself.
Okay.
And even his children can be re-educated, providing two things. One thing, that they are not older than 5 or maximum 6 years, because when they are over 6 years it's too late. They already begin to acquire the slavish mentality. Number two, that during their re-education or during their education, they have no contact with their parents, because the school that teaches children one thing, and when they come back home, and the slave parents teach them the other thing, there will be a conflict in their mentality, and the process will not be success.
So it seems that on the collective level, there's not a lot we can do actually.
I think you can do nothing on the collective level, because as I say, that the absolute majority of the modern people are slaves, and their goals are not the goals of humans, because they want to pay less taxes, to have more comfort in their life, more safety, more security, including security in the old age, early retirement age, and more pension paid. And this is absolutely contradictory to the goals of the humans, who are ready to sacrifice their comfort in their life, their property, their health, and even their very life, because they are ready to endanger their lives. They can leave everything, including their families, and in order to achieve their freedom, and they're even ready to die for their freedom. So these things are so much contradictory to each other, that on the collective level you cannot do anything, and you cannot mix the goals of the slaves who want to continue to be slaves but have less obligations and more income, with the goals of the humans who just want to be free and who don't want to be slaves.
The prison cells have been created so well that at this point the slaves are afraid to leave them. They abide to all of the man-made rules, but they have a fear of nature, which is freedom. There's a general fear of animals: bears, wolves, mosquitoes, ticks. I just said 2 on me. The slaves are afraid of natural, raw food. Of course, the climate is also scary, especially the sun itself. Humans have a natural fear of the unknown, but to the slaves, nature is the unknown.
j'ai envie de partir dans les montagnes.